huge audience today, especially those of you at home, hopefully. Happy pre-holiday season. It's 1 week until many of us will be in the middle of the holidays. Welcome to our meeting. For those of you who are at home, hopefully many of you today, we are by the frozen food section. We are Golden Speakers Toastmasters. And we are by lots of ice cream sales and also a mac and cheese sale right here at the local Fairfield Hy-Vee. We'd be glad for you to join us. We are here every Tuesday at 7:40 p.m. Let's get started. Today, the mission of our club, as every day, is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. Our Toastmaster of the evening is to be introduced. It turns out, that's me. I'm the Toastmaster of the evening. Important announcement to make. This club has done a fantastic job. I'd like to kick off the meeting for those of you who are dedicated to be here with the fact that we have accomplished all 10 of our DCP club goals. Congratulations. Thank you for all of your hard work. That's thanks to all of you. As a team, we've done well, and we're the first to do it in our district, to my knowledge. So very well done, everybody. Yep, we did. Yep, we got enough people over to officer training, and we will be having one that we'll discuss at the end of the meeting on January 6th, right here. On Saturday, January 6th, 2018. Yes. The general announcement to make is this thing right here. I'm going to put it on silent. Our cell phones need to be on silent. And be sure that you fill out your club leadership manuals. Let's introduce our role players for the evening. First of all, our timer is Dan Craig. Give him a warm welcome. Mr. Dan Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home. The role of the timer is to keep track of all the speeches that occur. Prepared speeches are usually 5 to 7 minutes. The green light is turned on at 5 minutes. The yellow light is turned on at 6 minutes. The red light is turned on at 7 minutes, remains on until the end of the speech. Table topics are 1 to 2 minute speeches. The green light at 1 minute, the yellow light at 1.5 minutes, the red light at 2 minutes. Evaluations are 3 minutes. The green light is turned on at 2, yellow light at 2.5, the red light is turned on at 3 and remains on to the end of the speech. In all cases, there's a 30-second grace period after the red light, which allows you to wrap up. I'm going to give a report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Next up is our grammarian, Emery Styron, the writer from Mount Pleasant. Welcome.
Were you waving, or
This is my
the
one
sound of one hand clapping?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I have dual roles tonight. I'm both grammarian and awe counter. As grammarian, I have two full duties. One is to introduce the word of the day, which, in keeping with the season, is tidings, news, or information. I think that's probably an old English term, maybe from the King James era. But simple concept, news or information, and as the scriptural reference, approximately, because I don't remember exactly, I bring you glad tidings of great joy. I'm not sure if yeah, must be like that, yeah, okay. And then, as grammarian, I will note good uses of the language, and hopefully I won't even pick up on any poor uses of the language. As all counter, I will note words and sounds used as crutch or filler words. By all speakers during the meeting, I will watch and report ahs, ums, ands, wells, but, so, you know, and on and on and on. I've already marked myself down for a couple. And I'll give a report on both these at the end of the meeting. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Emery. And in addition to our role players, especially well done, Emery, doing 2 roles today, we will be having Fraser Jones as our general evaluator for the evening. Also, as greeter and joke master, we will have Beta Royale being our joke master for the evening. Let's move on to our section of the meeting where we first of all will begin with prepared speeches. We have a great speech this evening from a very great Toastmaster of ours. He brings in a lot of great ideas and skills to our club. We will be having Jean Symington Craig read the objectives for the speech of Art Atkinson this evening.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Art is going to be doing a project for the Competent Communicator Manual, project number 9, Persuade with Power. Art has already completed this manual in the past, but he is going through and doing some projects from it again, because we always can get better with our competent communicators. The objective for project number 9, Persuade with Power, is to persuade listeners to adopt your viewpoint or ideas, or to take some action, to appeal to the audience's interests, to use logic and emotion to support your position. Avoid using notes. Art Atkinson has been a long-time Toastmaster. I think he predates me slightly.
Correct.
So he is quite a long-time Toastmaster, has served in a variety of roles here at Golden Speakers, has done an immense amount of service for the club over the years. Tonight, he is going to be bringing us tidings of some events that are happening in his life, and perhaps to give us a call to action regarding those. And Art, did you give me a title? I think you did, I just don't remember. Out of Balance. Okay, thank you. So Art's talk tonight is titled Out of Balance.
Life out of balance.
Life out of balance. Life.
Correct.
Okay, hearing is a very important aspect of Toastmasters. The title is Life Out of Balance. Please help me warmly welcome Art Atkinson to the stand.
Thank you for that introduction, Jean. Immense service, indeed. That overstates the case considerably. Good evening, Toastmasters, guests, and especially viewers at home. I have 3 announcements to make tonight, one of which I'm going to persuade you is something that you can do for yourself and for your friends. First announcement is I am very sick, although it may not be obvious to you, my sickness. Second announcement is I'm going to be absent from this club for about the next 3 months as a result of that sickness. Third announcement is, I'm not the only one who's sick in this particular way, and there's something that you can do, and I'm going to tell you about it. You can do for anyone else who happens to be suffering from a similar malady to mine that will help them greatly. So the second announcement, I am leaving Thursday morning bright and early to go out of the country to a warm climate for 3 months. I'm going to Panama, Central America. I'm going for a couple of reasons, but the most important one is for my health. First announcement is I'm sick. I have developed a case of Parkinson's disease. It may have come to your notice as you've seen me in this club or in other situations that I am unusually slow and clumsy, have a tendency to lose my balance, and there are a host of other symptoms. The obvious one that affects many Parkinson's sufferers is a trembling of the hands and face and limbs. But Parkinson's is different in every person who has it. And in my case, trembling of my limbs and face is not the major symptom. The major symptom, in my case that I'm dealing with right now, is drastic loss of manual dexterity. As a way of introducing you to what life is like for me, let me see a show of hands. Who can remember what it was like learning to ride a bicycle? Who has ever tried to do a gymnastic exercise, say a backflip or some gymnastic move, and noticed that there was some time involved in getting the body to do what you wanted it to do? Let me see a show of hands. Okay. At home, those of you watching, it'd be good if you tried this too. Just raise your hand. Now, how many of you just now, as you raised your hands, thought about the mechanics of what had to happen as you raised your hand? Did any of you think about that? No, you just decided my hand needs to go up, and up it went. Imagine that you had to actually go through thinking about the mechanics of getting the hand in the air, rather than having it happen automatically as a matter of your intention. Imagine life like that. That's how I'm living. Raising my hands over my head is one of the most tedious tasks that I have to do, but it's seconded by buttoning buttons and eating food out of a dish. Many things that I was accustomed to doing without giving it a second thought, I now have to pay full, undivided attention to get them to happen. And even then, it takes a long time. This cold, dry weather that we experience here in Iowa is particularly hard to deal with these kind of symptoms. I hesitate to think what it would be like walking on icy sidewalks with the level of balance that I have. I have trouble on firm ground maintaining my balance. One of the most insidious consequences of this disorder is isolation and a feeling of shame. A fellow sufferer from Parkinson's told me recently that she felt ashamed to be sick. And I could feel in my heart just how much of that tends to occur for me. I hide my disorder from people as much as possible. In order to overcome the feelings of isolation and going it alone, I have helped to organize a series of movement disorder peer group classes, a support group which meets at my place of business, Fairfield Nutrition, every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m., Thursday morning at 10 a.m. for an hour. We have a highly skilled instructor who puts us through movements designed to help us maintain physical capabilities and to strengthen the mind-body coordination. I'll give you an example. I suggest you try this for yourself. Try, as you sit in your seat, drawing a circle in the air with this hand, one hand, and draw vertical straight lines in the air with the other hand. Now swap hands. Now, change the circle to a triangle.
It's harder.
It's very hard. So, anybody that you know who's suffering from the consequences of a stroke or an injury or just simply limited mobility because of age or any other insult to the body which has left them less than fully capable of making life happen for themselves, is invited to participate in this class. The instructor is very creative and gentle, and the support of other fellow travelers is of tremendous value. Thank you for your attention, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Art. That was a very informative and very touching speech. We would now like 2 minutes. Timer, please. Time for 2 minutes to evaluate the speech. Now will be time for the evaluation portion of our meeting. Give a warm welcome for a general evaluator, Fraser Jones.
Dennis, I haven't got the name of the evaluator. Okay, and at this point in the meeting, I'll be calling on Jean Symington Craig to to evaluate the speech. Yeah.
Fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, and especially Art. Just so poignant, the whole presentation. I just have a lot of emotions, which is one of the project's goals, is to use my emotions and engage my emotions. I'm going to read the questions from the manual somewhat shorthandedly. Number 1, did the speaker project sincerity and conviction? Well, he definitely did, in my opinion, because he is actually a firsthand sufferer of Parkinson's disease, so he knows what he's talking about. Same thing, second question, credible source of information on this topic. Yes, he is, again, because he's working with it, describing his symptoms and explaining that to us. It doesn't get more real than that. Did the speaker phrase his appeal in terms of the audience's self-interest? I think he did, because he was indicating that we all could have someone in our lives, our family member, friends, colleagues, that are having similar experiences with a movement-restricted, imposition, and that we could have them take advantage of the class that Art is kindly putting together and finding so much benefit from. So that appealed to my self-interest, because we are a close community and we all have people, we're not isolated in that way, so it's a good thing that we can have something to refer them to. Did the opening capture the audience's interest? Yes, it did for me. He was very clear, and he laid out 1, 2, 3 things he was going to be talking about in the speech, and they were all interesting to me. So it was clear. And then he also had the exercise of asking us, well, try raising your hand, and how much do you have to think about that? Well, this is what I have to do to raise my hand and all of it. So there was a big, big, big contrast and comparison right at the beginning, which piqued my interest. Did he use facts and logical reasoning to support his views? I'd say not a lot of facts, but he did lay out, here are the symptoms, here's the issues, and then here's a solution that I'm offering for people to take advantage of these classes. Speech organization, very clear. Again, here's the problem, here's what I'm doing with the problem, and here's what I want to offer to people who have a similar problem. Body language, lots. I love this circles and the lines and the diagonals and like that. So that was very helpful. Again, just to demonstrate some of his world for us. I was persuaded to accept his views. What could he have done differently? I don't really have any suggestions for that. I think he was extremely powerful in the way he delivered it. And what I liked is that it was just such an up-close and personal experience that he shared with us. And I really want to thank you, Art, and we're wishing you well.
Now we'll move on to the table topics master. Emery Styron.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Good evening, viewers at home and fellow Toastmasters. Our meeting theme tonight is "'Tis the Season," and our table topics is tied to that. So we have a goodie bag here, and I'm not going to call on you, I'm just going to expect you all to participate, maybe twice. And are we going to have a second table topics evaluator, should we? Rather,
I could do it.
Okay, okay. So especially if we go through twice, there's another, Mr. Hawken, and another one, yeah. So let's just start in the back of the room with Dennis.
Oh, no.
And I'm going to change it up, and you draw one out, and you read it to me.
Okay.
And then speak on it when you're ready. Yeah.
Candy.
Candy, you keep the candy.
Oh, nice. I like it. Carbohydrates. Good stuff. What is the best gift you've never given? That's a good question, Emery.
All right.
Yeah. Woo! Let's think for 27 seconds left. And counting. Toastmasters. No guests, but guests that will be in the future. And viewers at home. The best gift that I have never given is, I think, a toy, a beautiful teddy bear to a child that I could be giving. When I think about it, the season of Christmas to me means that it's about giving to those who need it. Most of us don't need it. That are here. We're very fortunate, at least speaking for myself, that we have enough security of food, so we have a warm house to go to. But there's a lot of people, including in this country, unfortunately, that don't have that. And the season of Christmas is about simplicity and generosity, the example we've been given by many and by one in particular. So I think that we have to be giving, and I do believe it's really good to give. I like to give to a lot of variety of charities and causes, but I think giving a gift of a simple teddy bear or something that a child would really like, that type of toy, rather than some remote control, nerdy engineering helicopter that I've usually given in the past during toy drives, would be a good change. Because I think some kids would really like having a teddy bear or having a teddy shark like I had when I was little, or a wolf or something. Some people like that, but I think those stuffed animals are really calming for people, and it really brings good tidings to their dreams and to their hearts for the holiday season. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. And thank you for the candy.
Oh, enjoy that
Thank you.
candy. Yeah. And come back. Okay. Art, will you come again?
The advantages of sitting in the back of the room.
All right.
I know, good, very good.
What is the best gift you've ever received? Sort of the flip version of the last question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Clap, 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 clap.
Well, Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home, this question actually plays into something that I had wanted to say, and that is, I am very grateful that I have a lightweight case of my disorder. I am not nearly as heavily impacted as some unfortunate people here in Fairfield who suffer from movement disorders, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, stroke aftermath. The most wonderful gift that I have had the pleasure of receiving is my marriage to my wife, Susan, who's incredibly patient and supportive and helpful to me, given the skills that I've lost the ability to carry out successfully on my own or carry out in any reasonable time. That is one of the brightest spots in my life. There are others. I still enjoy and savor much more than I recall ever doing so before how good the food is that I have the privilege of eating. Food has just become so tasty. Everything is just wonderful. I can't think of a bad meal I've had in months. I'm looking forward to discovering what this little goodie is going to be like. Another one of the best gifts that I've received is the opportunity to be in love with grandchildren and to appreciate grandchildren and enjoy grandchildren without the responsibility to be the parent. My son is shouldering that load very successfully. Thank you for the opportunity to answer this delightful question.
Thank you, Art. Frazier.
Clap, 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 clap.
What are your most important Toastmaster goals for 2018?
Say it again.
What are your most important Toastmasters goals for 2018? My main goal in 2018 for Toastmasters is to become more fluent in delivering a speech. I also have secondary goals. As an officer, I want to continue carrying out the role of an officer to the best of my ability and supporting other members of the Toastmaster. In 2018, I think, will definitely get me to improve the way I'm delivering speeches, cut out some of the things I refer to like okay or so, and I'm looking forward in this festive season to really go into 2018 to achieve all my goals.
Thank you, Frazier. Ada? I guess I don't have to hold the bag. I can do it like this.
Who's holding the bag? Can I choose again?
Sure,
or-
sure.
Okay, thank you.
Will you read it?
You better read it.
This one is, what is the best gift that you've never received?
Thank you.
No, the best gift you ever gave,
There was two.
never received, yeah.
Yeah, art also.
Art had that.
Yeah, art has that.
No, it
art.
wasn't
No, it's
exactly
a
the
little
same.
different, It's a little different.
Okay, what, explain the difference.
You never gave.
First it was
That
the
was-
best gifts you never gave, and then it was the best gift you ever got, and now it's the best gift, what?
Received.
Never
Received.
received.
Never received.
Never.
Never.
So it's on the
Okay.
receiving side, the one you really wanted that got away.
No.
Or
that I never-
however you
However
want
you
to,
wanna
you
do
can
it,
read
however you
into
wanna do
it
it.
several ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Best gift I never received. Is there a timing of the 30 seconds? Do you
No,
flash it?
no.
Oh. Praying.
Somebody will run up and grab you. though.
Mr. Topic Master, viewers at home, esteemed audience members, and myself. I've come to the solemn question of what's the best gift that I have never received, which could be interpreted one of many ways. It was really good because I didn't get it. In fact, it was a horrible gift. Or I really wanted it, but I couldn't get it. I couldn't afford it. And I'm so sad I never received it. I will just address that interpretation. About a year ago, in the Christmas Hanukkah season, I decided to put an investment on a gift for myself. I put eventually $100 down on a very beautiful piano, which had very heavy keys, but yet was actually plastic piano, but it had wooden keys, and it was an excellent piano from Dave Randall's shop. After I put down that amount of money, I realized I wasn't in economic good shape. So I just yesterday realized that it had been taken away for auction, never having received this gift to myself. But it was the best gift I never received, because having that piano, and Dave Randall's, you know, he ran the music store, he's passed away. And I think that I would have been so sad to have that piano. So I think that was the best gift that I never received. And I'm hoping that I'll decide if I really need a piano in the future. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you, Beta. Okay, Jean.
Okay.
Dig deep or skim the top, however you want.
Okay, so candy's looking good. Boy, you just like have really kind of, yeah.
Twisted the knife.
Yeah. Okay, so hold on to all the options we've had so far. What is the best gift you've ever given? So this is, I actually followed through. Thank you, thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Topics Master, viewers at home, right off the bat, I'm going to confess that I am not a great gift giver. There are people who do up fabulous bows and packaging, and everything is just so well thought out, and it always blows me away because I am challenged just to get it wrapped. I always feel like, oh, I did it, I'm done. And no, it's not done till it's actually given. You actually have to wrap it, and you actually have to put it in the mail. Those things matter. So I'm not really good at it. There was one time, however, my mom and I went in on a gift for Dan. And it was his birthday. It wasn't Christmas, it was his birthday. Dan really liked, and I liked too, the series called the Aubrey Maturin series. There was a movie, Far Side of the World, with Russell Crowe, very popular, sea captains, and there's 22 books in the series. Fabulous series, written by, what's his name? Patrick O'Brien. Patrick O'Brien. Dan's birthday arrives, and my mom and I have bought maybe 6 or 7 of these books, hardbacks, all good. And so Dan, what I did is as Dan went through his day, I'd be ahead of Dan, and I'd just put a book in his environment. So he goes out to his car, he opens the door, he gets in, and there is a Patrick O'Brien book on the steering wheel. Then he comes home to take a nap just a little bit at the end of the day. There's a Patrick O'Brien book on the pillow. Throughout the day, there were these books. So he was thinking, oh, I got a book. No, I got 2 books. And they kept piling up. I was so tickled. It was one of the best things I ever did. I'd say that's one of the best gifts I ever gave.
Thank you, Jean. I believe you hit a home run with that gift. Gift that keeps giving. Okay, now maybe we switch to you being the evaluator and let Hudaifa come and choose. And I do want to say that I created these questions with the awareness that we have many different cultures and faiths and non-faiths in our club, and I hope that the questions were broad and don't make anybody feel boxed in, but as we did earlier, if you get a question that's just not in your comfort zone, feel free to choose another, okay?
Okay.
You okay?
Yes. Give us your thoughts on angels, either real or metaphorical.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah. Give us your thoughts on angels. Angels, either real or metaphorical.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I'm the only one that didn't get a gift. Okay. Okay. Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and our viewers at home. I believe in angels. And the thing, maybe many people, they do not know that all Muslims believe in Jesus, not only angels. And you will not be a Muslim if you do not believe in Jesus. And we believe in the miracle birth of Jesus. When the angel, Jibril, or Gabriel in English, came to Mary and gave her the message from the God that you will give birth of Jesus without father or any human or interaction or sexual interaction. Angels in our life are hidden, are not or non-scientific or physical objects that can we see or hear, or except if they became or came in a human form or shape. And they, as mentioned in Quran, angels are with us to save us from ourselves and from other evils. Thank you very much.
Okay, do you wish to go back around again?
Yeah, those goodies are worth going and answering the second question.
Or
Yeah,
give
if you
us
hadn't
at
brought those
least-
in.
Hey, we'd go home.
I have two sons, so I have to think too.
Oh, okay, well,
You got them was delicious. We need to do another round.
I've got plenty of candy.
Yeah.
So Dennis?
These are good.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Hey. Nice. Okay, just pick one again. Strategically. Could you be a Salvation Army bell ringer? Why or why not? It's a good question. Thank you, Emery. A lot of good questions today. That's one I don't actually need to think too much about because I have some experience with this. Thank you, Emery. Thank you, Toastmasters. Thank you, guests to be and viewers at home. Could I be a Salvation Army bell ringer? In the past, I was. And I do think that I would say, yes, I can be. And then now, the partially heartless answer is, it depends on when for me. Sometimes I've done it, and sometimes I haven't done it in my life. Because it depends on when I see the Salvation Army doing a lot of really good things in the community that I'm convinced the money is going to really good purposes, I do it. As I did in the past. At the same time, sometimes about charities I'm very skeptical. I have to be careful about how efficient is the money being used for the bureaucracy and marketing purposes versus the actual actions I want to see. And that's where, for me, it depends. I've heard good things and bad things about certain work they've been doing recently. My answer to you right now, would I do it? It depends on, I have to first research the charity to make sure that they are, at the moment, operating efficiently. As heartless of an answer as that is, that's how my brain works. When it comes to charities, as with many things, I want to make sure the money I send, which I do believe strongly it is good to send, at least a certain percent of your income. But I want to make sure it's used the way I want to use it. And I believe they do a great service of the actions that they have done. So yes, I could be, and they do some great things, and I'm proud of them. Thank you.
Don't forget the candy. Not a chance, huh? Art?
Dig in. Why do you think the Santa Claus myth is so popular?
Assuming you think it is a myth,
That's
yeah.
a myth. Santa Claus, as a fixture of this season, is popular because people love kids. And people tend to keep having kids. And their love for kids includes persuading them that Santa Claus is coming to town, and they better be good for goodness sake. Actually, they better be good for gift-giving's sake. I especially enjoyed, there was an animated film that I think Tom Hanks had a part in creating that was Polar Express, I believe was the name of the film. Delightful romp in the Santa Claus myth. Santa Claus is popular because he satisfies so many desirable things from a child's point of view. First of all, he's roly-poly and dressed in a cool outfit. He comes while they're sleeping. He brings cool stuff that they've been wishing they could get. The only downside to Santa Claus is this, the physics of it are just outrageously impossible. Visiting 44 million places in the space of a few hours. So it's a delightful distraction from the core meaning of the Christian tradition around Christmas. It has more kid appeal than Birth of the Savior does. That's why it's so popular.
Thank you, Art. Penetrating analysis, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Frazier.
Wow, this is a lot of reading, huh? For many people, thoughts turn towards home and family this time of year. Please share with us something important about your home and family.
Put you right here.
Family is always important. And nowadays, as my daughter is away studying and she's coming back at this time of the year, I definitely look forward to that. Being home with her, we can talk about the things going on in her life, in my life, what's her future going to, she thinking of her future, and also do things together. At this stage in our life, we always trying to one up one another sometimes, you know. And that can be pretty interesting, right? And fun. Yeah.
Thanks, Frazier.
I think we're out of time.
Okay.
Aw. Aw.
Have time for theater.
We have to have time for evaluations.
Evaluations and reports.
Should we have Emery do one though?
One condition on that, evaluators, joke master, and timer all get a piece of candy. That's all.
Well, I purposely brought enough that if we had guests, if we had,
That's it.
why don't we let Jean do one more and then call it good?
Yeah.
As table topics master, I decree it.
I second that motion.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
okay. You want to do it? I mean, you can have the questions.
I've forgotten them, there's too many.
They're different flavors too.
There's 4 different flavors.
Wow, okay. All right, what is your favorite holiday tradition?
Softball.
I'm going to take us back a little bit to when I was living as a family with my parents and my siblings, fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Table Topics Masters, and viewers at home. My mother has the dubious distinction of having a birthday on Christmas Day. This is not a good thing to do. In fact, if you are pregnant right now hearing this conversation, do whatever you can to avoid having that happen for your child. Because what happens is people send presents, Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, and you get one present. It's a rip. On top of that, when you're the parent, Christmas is just the big, big deal. All the kids are in, and it's your birthday, and you're not getting enough attention. What we did at our household, and my parents' friends started to say, this needs to change. It came from outside, actually. It wasn't from our side. My mother's friend said, we need to have a birthday party for Ruthie. That's my mom. And we're going to have that, and we're going to do that at night. So the first half of the day was kids, and we're opening presents, and we're having a big meal and all of that, and everybody just gets exhausted, and then everyone takes a nap. And then afterwards, we would go to my very close friends of my parents, and there would be a birthday party for my mom. There were poets in that group. They would write poetry for my mom. There'd be singing, there'd be music. It was just a cool way to end Christmas and also make sure my mom got the attention that she deserved. That was a very special tradition. We had Christmas, and then we had my mother's birthday all in the same 24-hour period. I wish I could do that right now, but I'm older now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. Okay, I think that concludes our table topics. And how do we do this?
Do we even want to vote? It seems complicated.
We need to vote.
Vote.
Seems
Vote.
complicated.
Vote.
Want to vote?
Vote.
Okay.
Vote. I've already voted.
Okay,
Just to let you know, everybody qualified.
everybody
So, I'm
qualified.
not gonna read the names, just look around.
Everybody had 2 chances to qualify.
Yeah.
Most of
For,
it.
for
Verbatim.
people,
It's okay.
who speak twice, so we can vote for them twice. They should have
Some had more
confused.
One
chances.
Yeah.
There, just vote on their
vote per
overall.
customer.
It's a
Overall,
package deal. You have to
combined
have, yeah,
score.
it's a
Combined-
package deal.
Whoever did the best between the 2 topics.
It's like
or one
3
topic.
runs
Oh,
in skiing.
okay.
You got it, it's your total score. Let's see.
Total score.
Okay, was it the consensus to evaluate or not to evaluate?
We'll evaluate, we've got time.
Okay,
Just
well,
How
let's
much-
call
how
our,
much time?
not very much.
I think
what to allow.
Hidalgo's got
How many
5
do you have?
people.
You have 5?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, so I have 4.
You're
So
twice.
3 minutes each?
how about he gets 3 to 4 and I get 2 to 3?
Okay,
3 to 4.
welcome our first table topics evaluator, Dive.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for Emery for this gifts and this creative way and delicious. I'll start with Dennis. His question about best gift you never given, you have never given, or you have ever given. The question. Never? You're never given. Okay, yeah, first of all, he had used the time, enough time to think about the question, and he greeted the audience, and he talked about poor people and the blessings that he had in the past when he has a family and he thinks about other people, and from the other side or from the other hand he was thinking about the good gift for children, because usually when, as Emery mentioned in his talk a month ago about what you think is good for your child or will make it happy, actually will not do. And then we have Art. Also, he had used enough time to think about the answer, and he greeted the audience. His question was about the best gift he ever received. And simply, it was blessing. He is blessed even when he thinks about, or he suffered with his sickness, he still thinks that he is blessed because he's better than other people that maybe cannot move or do anything. Other blessing is about his wife and grandchildren. Yeah, I suffer with my children, raising my children. Yeah, and I'm waiting that time I will just have a good time, enjoy my time with my grandchildren, maybe after 20, 30 years, I don't know, without just, after that, take your children. Fraser, your question was goal or Toastmaster goals for 2018. You have used enough time to think, but you didn't greet the audience. Your eye contact is very good. Actually, it's different than my eye contact. Usually when you in your speech, it looks like you speak with this person and then you move and speak. It's not a general. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I think, yeah, it's a good experience that I learned a new eye contact participation. And for Veda, question was best gift never received. You used enough time to think and greeted the audience. And you were planning to give yourself a gift. Yeah, this is a new idea because, yeah, I don't think everybody thinks about himself. Yeah, it's important because if you are happy enough, you can make the other people happy. Other than that, it's not everyone, or usually if you suffer, it's hard to give, because in Arabic they said, فاقد الشيء لا يعطيه. If you lose something or if you miss something, you cannot give it to other people. And finally, we have Gina the first and Gina the second. Question was best gift you ever given and the favorite holiday tradition. You used enough time to think and you greeted the audience. Your gestures are great. Usually I focus with your hands movement and your movement from here to here with your facial expressions, and that, I think, yeah, it's a great skill that you have during your speeches. Other than that, you used your husband's help in the speech. Yeah, this should not be allowed. Yeah, this is. Other than that, I do not have a real suggestions. I'm not in the level of evaluating that can I have suggestion for everyone or find the negative points in their speeches. Thank you.
Yes, I will come up. Thank you. I know.
Come to practice.
Okay. Thank you. Our first table topics evaluator, fellow members and viewers at home. I start right off with Hudaifa. He got the question about did he believe in angels? And right away he addressed the question. I like that. To me, it's just forthright and honest. I believe in angels. Then he also went on to just give a little different perspective on it because of his religious tradition, and clarifying for us, who may or may not be Muslim as well, that in fact there's crossover on traditions and beliefs, which was interesting. A suggestion for Hudaifa would be just to bring it to a conclusion at the end. An example would be, in closing, I do believe in angels. So repeating it again, and know that they are watching out for us, or whatever your statement you want to pull out. You could even put it in something funny if you want, even in Toastmasters. Angels do come to Toastmasters. So anyway, just a conclusion. Dennis did the Salvation Army. Very credible because he's speaking from experience. And he answered this question very specifically because he actually has been in that position. He had good gestures. Dennis uses gestures a lot as well. Very good. And he's getting more specific about those, so that's helpful. The conclusion, his conclusion was good. He had a conclusion. So he said, in summary, I do believe in giving, but I believe in doing your research before you give so that you're getting the most. So he pulled that together, and to me that's really major points. So I didn't really have anything for suggestions for Dennis. Art did the Santa Claus myth. Right away he gives the premise up front. He follows the logic. People love kids. Kids love Santa. So that's why Santa stays around. You can follow that logic whether you're a kid or not. He also gave something I really like, the humor, which was the physics is impossible. You can't use your intellectual brain and be able to understand Santa because it's impossible. But that's just kind of funny, and it was fun for Art to bring that up. And again, he reiterated the logic at the end, the conclusions, kid appeal, and that's why Santa's here, and it's different from the religious. I didn't really have anything for Art as well. It was very well put together, easy to follow. Fraser got the question about the home and the family, and he did answer the question. I do believe that home and family are important. He got into, and then we started to see his father's side as he starts talking about his daughter and how it's grown. I would just suggest for Fraser that, again, just to have a wrapping up conclusion. It kind of petered out. Could, as an example, say something in closing. I do believe that family and home are important and are becoming even more so with time. Something like that. Toastmaster, general evaluator, yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jean.
Thank you.
So the timer, which evaluator qualified?
Jean qualified twice, and I think Hy-Vee went over. I couldn't remember the time we allowed. It was 5:41.
3 to
So,
4.
Okay, so Jean qualified twice.
3 to 4.
so,
Okay.
so we won't have
We won.
any.
I get extra clapping? Does that mean?
Yes. Okay.
Reports?
Okay. So, the reports. So, timer.
Everyone's gonna go first, and then you do.
Timer. What's the
Dan.
timer? Dan. Right. To give his report.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow members, viewers at home. Art's speech was 8 minutes and 8 seconds. Jean's speech evaluation was 3:25. Her table topics evaluation was 3:19. Hy-Vee's table topics evaluation was 5:41. Table topic speakers, Dennis, 151, Art, 2 minutes, Fraser, 146, Veda, 203, Jean, 201, Hy-Vee, 155, Dennis number 2, 147, Art number 2, 217, Fraser number 2, 137, Jean number 2, 153. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Now we move on to the grammarian, Emery Siron.
Thank you, Fraser. Good evening again, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home. Grammarian report, word of the day, Dennis once, Jean once. Uses of language, Dennis, I hate to bring bad tidings, but I think you misused complicity. It has more of a negative connotation than a positive one. If someone was complicit in a wrongdoing, they contributed to it, so.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but I loved your term, remote control, nerdy engineering device, yeah. Jean, I mean, it's a well-used phrase, but it still fit up close personal experience. Art, drastic loss of manual dexterity, insidious consequence, insult to the body. I mean, you really made us feel what you're experiencing, as much as people who aren't experiencing it can feel.
Why no handwritten evaluations from me?
Yeah.
Can't write.
Okay. And in your Santa Claus talk, I loved the description, roly-poly dressed in a cool outfit. And that's just briefly on all counter. I had at least a couple of uhs. Fraser had a couple of pauses, a Xerox, and 2 false starts. Jean had 1 you know. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Now we have the joke master. Now we call on Vida, the joke master. Go.
Thank you, Fraser. This evening I've suddenly been apprised of the fact that I was joke master, and using the latest technology to look up a joke, which I actually recently heard, and I Googled the key words, which includes talking dogs and CIA. So I will be telling 2 jokes if I have the time.
1 minute.
1 minute?
That's a 1 minute
Oh, I
joke.
better just go for this last
Go for the
joke
best
then.
one.
Okay, this is a long joke, could take the whole minute. A guy is driving around the backwoods of Tennessee, and he sees in front of a broken down shanty a big, gigantic sign that says, "Talking dog for sale." So he goes and tries to find a knocker. There's not even a knocker on this house. The guy comes out, he's in the backyard. He goes in the backyard, the dog looks up, and it's German Shepherd. German Shepherd is nicely clean and groomed and says, "How's it going?" "Yeah, I was in the CIA and they trained me in police academy with top secret method to make me talk. I was assigned to bomb detail on diplomats and they didn't know I could talk. So I was a top spy for 10 years. Then I started getting arthritis, they decided to retire me. So I went in the shipping hole and I got lost in the luggage anyway. And they didn't care because they were retiring me. So I was going to go back to the police academy and be a consultant, but instead they lost me and I was put up into a shelter and here I ended up in this hellhole. Go figure. So the guy goes out to the guy who owns him and he says, "It's an amazing dog. I mean, how much? How much for this dog? I'll give you anything." He says, $10. I said, $10? Why so cheap? Dog's a liar. Never did any of that stuff.
Now, as general evaluator, I'll evaluate the evaluators. First, we had Jean Symington Craig evaluating Yeah. Jean followed the manual. She had good gestures. And you could see she, like all of us, she conveyed that the heartfelt thing we felt in our speech, in art speech. Sorry, I'm saying art. Yeah. She used the stage well and addressed all, and in some cases when she wanted to show the different gestures, she did move in accordingly. And well, she didn't have any suggestion for Al, but Al's speech presented the speech so well. I didn't see anything I could suggest that she could have said. Now, Hudaifa, in the table topics, he was very enthusiastic. I would suggest you try to limit some of your movements, like your hand, and I noticed you stepping back and forth. You could try to limit that because it can be slightly distracting. You did have advice for most of the thing, but I think that is something you will get in time, because sometimes the topics are so interesting and that you get pulled in and don't have the advice. And Jean, on the table topics. She had advice for most of the table topic participants, which was good. And she gave very good suggestion. And well, I don't have anything else to. I don't have anything really to recommend that she could do better. She did, I think, a very good job. And with that, I'll hand over to the Toastmaster, Dennis.
We have some awards to present. Well done, everybody. Thank you for your participation. You are the greatest evaluator, Jean. Congratulations.
Table topics evaluation is very hard, so kudos
And
to
very well done.
Lifa.
Thank you.
You had a long
Long piece.
piece
Yeah.
with a lot of different
Yeah.
people evaluate. So very well done job, both our evaluators.
Thank you.
Yep. And
You want me to
Please
come?
accept your award, Jean. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next up, we have double success. Mr. Art Atkinson, you are the greatest speaker and you are the best at table topics.
Enjoy those chocolates.
Thank you, Art. Very well done job, everybody. Especially Art. Excellent speech. That concludes what we need to do in terms of awards, from my understanding. Let's hand the meeting over to our president, myself, from Toastmasters president. That was a very autocratic transfer then to the next portion of the meeting. Let's wrap things up. First of all, I want to thank all of you for making it. You're very dedicated. It is December 19th, and I'm glad you guys are here. And I know the holiday season is coming up, so attendance may be a bit lower. To announce, next week, to my understanding, there is a meeting to be scheduled at the same time. So next week, there will be a meeting at 7:40 p.m. 7:45 p.m. We start. Be here by 7:40 next week. For those of you who are in town, myself, I will be out of town. But for those of you who are, please come on in.
Could we
But then again,
see who is going to be in town?
yeah, let's vote on that actually, because it may or may not be worth it. You all will be on town. You guys will be in town. Town.
In town.
Nice.
Is Will around? Will said he
Will,
was going to be.
I believe he will be, yes. And it's Christmas Day is Monday, so hence. Do we have any conflicts though with anything else? Any major other events, holidays?
There's fruitcake.
Fruitcake. I like that. Yeah. You gotta get some good stuff. Yeah. Fruitcake.
I'm sick of fruitcake.
People, for those who do
Bring
it.
in your leftover fruitcake.
Yeah. Leftover fruitcake, panettone, whatever you and your culture and everybody's cultures celebrate, however they celebrate the holidays or whether they celebrate or not, you can bring some good things in. Yeah, next week. Anything else in terms of business?
Oh, are we meeting on January 2nd?
January
Because you won't
2nd.
be here next week.
Yep.
And then our next meeting is January 2nd.
How many of you will be in town January 2nd and will be recovered from your New Year's?
Well,
Hopefully, I mean, that's probably not going to be the case.
We
Yeah,
can
yeah.
do it. You can
Okay,
have
no,
a
it's a good
chair and
way.
sit down, you know.
Yeah.
Provide a chair for people to sit during table topics.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be back. I don't know if I'll be recovered, but I'll be back.
Okay.
And I mean, if I need a chair, if I'm like still gone, I'll just put a chair out.
Toastmasters clarified your
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, exactly. I like it. Yep. So we will be having meeting as usual next week and second because we do not have any holidays
Okay.
officially on those days.
All right.
Anything else? Okay. Happy holidays.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Happy
Happy New
piece
Year.
of
Merry Christmas,
candy.
everyone. Yay.
And get your candy, guys. Thank you. Happy holidays.